Hey guys, welcome back to New India Trivia. I am back with another question that's going to test how well you actually know your own country. Now picture this snow-capped mountains, a jeep bouncing over a cold desert trail, and somewhere behind a rock, a pair of eyes watching you. That's not a movie scene. That is about to become real life in one part of India. So, here's today's trivia question. Which Himalayan destination is set to launch India's first high altitude wildlife safari? Your option is Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, Ladakh, or Uttarakhand. Comment your answer down below using an emoji before I reveal it. Let's see how many of you get this right. Don't scroll, don't skip. I promise the story behind this answer is wild. Alright, no more waiting. The correct answer is option C, Ladakh. Yes, Ladakh. The land of high passage, cold deserts, and some of the most untouched wilderness left in India, is getting the country's first ever high altitude wildlife safari. If you guessed Jammu and Kashmir or Himachal, I get why. They are stunning too. But this one belongs to Ladakh, and once you hear why, it will make complete sense. So let's break this down properly. What exactly is being launched? Who approved it? And why this is such a big deal for India's ecotourism map. This isn't just a random travel company idea. This comes directly from the top. Ladakh's Lieutenant Governor Vinai Kumar Saxena officially approved this initiative during the very first governing body meeting of a newly formed body called the SHAN Conservation Society, that stands for Snow Leopard and High-Altitude Nature Conservation Society, which was set up in June 2026. Under this plan, the Forest Department has been directed to introduce guided jeep safaris. But here's the interesting part, these aren't going to be random jeep rides, they are going to be modeled on the safari system used in India's most famous national park like Kaziranga National Parks in Assam and Ranthambore in Rajasthan. That means a specially designed open back safari vehicles, trained local drivers, and certified guides, the exact same professional structure you would see on a tiger safari, except now applied to a completely different kind of terrain, high altitude cold desert. Think about that for a second. Until now, India's safari culture has almost always meant thick forests and grasslands, spotting a tiger through green foliage. This flips that entire pictures. Now the backdrop is snow-covered peaks, barren mountain slopes, and thin, freezing air at over 10,000 feet. Now here the number that makes this whole project make sense. According to the snow leopard population assessment of India, the country has an estimate 718 snow leopards. In total, out of those, 477, nearly two thirds, live right here in Ladakh. That makes Ladakh home to India's largest snow leopard population by huge margin. The snow leopard is often called the ghost of the mountains. And food, oh, sorry, and for good reason. These animals are incredibly elusive, camouflaged perfectly against rocky snow terrain, and they avoid human contact almost instinctively. Most people who live their entire lives in the Himalayas never spot one in the wild. So when this safari officially rolls out, it's not just offering scenic views, it is offering one of the rarest wildlife sighting experience on the planet. And it's not only about snow leopards. Ladakh is home to over 38 mammal species, nearly 340 bird species, and almost 1800 species of vesicular plants. That's an insane level of biodiversity for a region most people just associate with cold deserts and monasteries. The safari routes being explored include Hemis National Park, Changthang Wildlife Sanctuary, Karakoram Wildlife Sanctuary, and other wildlife rich belts like Nubra, Jaskar, Sam, Kargil, and Dras. All known hotspots for snow leopards, sightings, and rare Himalayan bird lives. Now, you might be thinking, okay, cool, another tourist attraction, but this project is solving a real problem. For years, Ladakh has quietly dealt with a growing issue: illegal off roading, tourists and drivers taking jeeps off marked paths, cutting through fragile mountain ecosystem just to get a better photo or a shortcut. In a landscape this delicate, where plant life takes years to recover and wildlife is extremely sensitive to human disturbance, that kind of unregulated activity causes serious long-term damage. This new safari system is designed to fix exactly that. By creating defined guided routes, the administrations can control where vehicles are allowed to go, reduce stress and disturbance to snow leopards and other wildlife, prevent random off-roading through sensitive habitats, give tourists a suffer more structured and honestly more informative experience. So instead of banning tourism to protect the environment, which is what a lot of places end up doing, Ladakh is choosing to regulate and guide it. That's a smarter, more sustainable middle path. Okay, this next part is honestly my favorite part of the whole story, and it's what makes this initiative genuinely special. This isn't a top down tourism project run by outside companies, it's built to be community led. As per as part of this plan, 20 local youths from Ladakh will be selected and especially trained in bird watching, bird identification, and wildlife spotting skills. And they will be equipped with proper binoculars and field gear. On top of that, 10 dedicated bird watching hides, basically a small shelters for observing wildlife without disturbing it, are being set up at major wildlife hotspots. And it doesn't stop there. 50 local women artisans are being trained to create wildlife themed servings, including tenor replicas of the snow leopard, turning conservation into a actual livelihood, not just a government policy on paper. So think about what's actually happening here. The same local communities who lived alongside this wildlife for generations are now being turned into trained guides, drives, and conservation patterns. Not slide lines by the project, but placed right at the center of it. That's the real definition of sustainable ecotourism, where protecting nature and improving local livelihoods aren't two separate goals, they are the same goal. Let's zoom out for a second. India already has iconic wildlife tourism circuits, tiger safaris in Ranthambore, Bandhavgarh, and Jim Corbett Rihano's safaris in Kaziranga, but high altitude wildlife tourism, that's a completely untapped category. This positions Ladakh not just as a trekking or biking destination, which is what most people already know it for, but as a serious wildlife tourism destination competing on a global stage with places like Mongolia or the Central Asian mountains, which are already famous for snow leopard tourism. For India, that's a big shift. It opens up a new kind of traveler, wildlife photographers, conservationists, researchers, and tourists who might never have considered Ladakh for anything beyond bike trips to Khardungla or a visit to Pangong Lake. Alright, let's quickly recap what we learned today. The correct answer was Ladakh, approved by Lieutenant Governor Vinai Kumar Saxena under the newly formed SHAN Conservation Society. It's important, SHAN Conservation Society. It will feature guided jeep safaris across snow leopard and bird watching trials, home to nearly 477 of India's 718 snow leopards, the largest population in the country, and most importantly, it's built on a community led model, training local youths as a guides uh, and local women as artisans, turning conservation into livelihood. Now tell me honestly in the comments, did you get this one right on your first guess? And more importantly, if this safari actually launch, would you want to go see a snow leopard in the wild? Comment if yes. If you learned something new today, hit that like button. It genuinely helps this channel grow. Subscribe to New India Trivia if you are not already, because we drop questions like this regularly, testing how well you really know modern India. Drop your answer, drop your thoughts, and I will see you in the next trivia. Until then, keep learning, keep exploring your own country. This is New India Trivia signing off.